They say third time's a charm, but maybe, just maybe, they lied. Well, at least that seems to be what Google's out here making the case to be, and with its launch of the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, I'm starting to think that they might have a point. Maybe, just maybe, 2-time is all you need. Or maybe not. Stick around because there's a lot to unfold and you don't want to miss what's next. Let's go ahead and jump in. Welcome back to the channel, folks. I appreciate you all for being here. Without wasting any time, let's hop in. Now, if you've been following the world of foldables recently, then you are likely aware that foldables are no longer the wild experiment they once were. Competition is getting serious. So serious that I've started asking myself, what's the future of this foldable showdown? Who's eventually gonna dominate the space? Now, since we're not there yet, let me reframe by getting the real question that's on everyone's mind. How does the Pixel 9 Pro Fold stack up against the rest? Well, why don't we kick things off with the design? Google went for a sleeker, more refined approach here, and I gotta say, it's paid off. As you can see here, apparently the 9 Pro Fold didn't just grow up. It seems to have hit the gym and stretched itself out a little. We're talking taller, slimmer, and looking like it's been through a serious level of transformation compared to its shorter and chunkier older sibling. The darn thing is thin, like impressively thin, and I mean that both folded and unfolded. Holding it in one hand feels solid, yet almost feather-like compared to the earlier iteration. Now, it may have lost the weight and more, but it didn't lose all of its charm. It still has that rounded bezel on the right, making it a comfortable fit for those marathon sessions in your right hand. But if you are lefty, well, yeah, that sharper edge might give your palm a bit of a workout. And oh, there is a bulkier camera bump on the back here. Still, the key takeaway here is no annoying wobble when it's flat on the table. Although, you do get a slight rock when it's unfolded. And speaking of unfolding, the hinge here, sheesh, a polished metal hinge that is so smooth, sturdy, and frankly, this is one of the most premium hinges I've seen so far. Let's talk display for a second. Google's taken the same OLED display from the Pixel 9 Pro and essentially slapped it right on the cover of this one. I mean, of course, you do get slight specs differences, but essentially the same display. It's fantastic for everyday tasks, calls, emails, texting, all that jazz. The internal display, a massive, sharp, and super smooth 8-inch 120Hz OLED that will blow your mind. And in case that sounded like mumbo jumbo, well, just know that the display is excellent. That said, it's not flawless, but the improvements are clear, especially when you are outdoors. It's much brighter than the previous iteration. The crease? Well, yeah, of course. Just like on other foldables, it's still there, but it's definitely less noticeable. I'm talking when you compare this to what we have on the Z Fold 6, oh yeah, there's a big difference. This one is almost invisible when you compare to that of the Z Fold 6. But hey, some people are more crease conscious than others. So if you are one of those, well, take note. Reflections? Well, still there, of course, but still much better than before. Now, the biggest highlight here is the much, and I truly mean much thinner inner bezel. If you remember, that of the previous generation was really thick. If you're wondering what's happening under the hood this time around, well, Google's Tensor G4 chip is doing the heavy lifting here, and yes, it does get warm during extended use, especially when you are pushing the camera hard or running data-heavy apps. But it's nowhere, and I really mean nowhere near as hot as the previous Tensor chip, so props to Google for that. On the software side, if you're used to Pixel devices, you're gonna feel right at home. Google's familiar and minimalistic interface is here. It's clean, easy to navigate, and yeah, maybe a little too simple compared to Samsung's feature-packed Fold. Sure, there's no desktop mode. Sure, there's no, stylus support. Sure, there's no crazy level of customization, but here, less is more. On top of that, it seems as though Google is saying, well, you want it simple. Well, here it is. Now, as far as productivity goes, I've got to give a nod to the multitasking features. The split screen experience is straightforward. Pull up the taskbar, drag an app, and boom, 2 apps running side by side. Rotate it to landscape mode, and you've got apps stacked vertically. Perfect for watching videos while also, pretending to be productive. The ability to swipe up to continue apps when you fold the phone? Yes, please. Why, you may ask? Well, that's a feature that makes this device just feel smarter. The Tensor G4's true purpose is not raw power. So, although it's an upgrade, it certainly is not a revolution. That said, it's more than capable of handling anything you throw at it. This chip is all about artificial intelligence, and this phone is practically bursting at the seams with it. Gemini, the Add Me feature, the Magic Editor in Google Photos, and so much more. I'll actually need to make a dedicated video for all of those AI features. But I digress. For the gamers out there, this device is optimized for folded gaming. I'm talking racing games, track twists and turns, all while folded in half. It's a nice touch for those who don't want to keep unfolding the phone. As far as the camera goes, it's excellent, but Google seems to have followed Samsung's playbook here, because as good of a camera as it is, it doesn't quite match up to the Pixel 9 Pro's optics. Just like Samsung's Z Fold 6 camera is nowhere near that of the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Now, size constraints are scapegoated as reasons we're not getting flagship cameras on these devices. Nevertheless, Google's software is still here. So, you are getting fantastic photos following that signature Pixel look. Natural colors, solid dynamic range, plus those pro camera features exclusive to the Fold do give you more control over your shots, and that's always a win. Use the outer display, for example, as a viewfinder. Get your framing right and snap. Let's just say that in my humble experience so far, all of those AI features very much work as advertised. Battery life, well, it's what I would call adequate. Use that main display all day and you'll definitely find yourself needing to put on a charger before dinner. Stick to the cover display on the other hand and you'll be able to cruise through a full day with ease. But here's the kicker though. Charging is slow. I mean, 1 hour and 45 minutes slow. That's how long it takes to go from 0 to full charge. And even then, it's capped at 21 watts. Woo. So where does all of this leave us? Well, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold here is a solid second-gen device. As you saw, it nails the essentials. Great build quality, fantastic screens, and just that Pixel software charm. But, of course, there are trade-offs. The lack of telephoto lens, slower charging, and less robust multitasking features mean it's not quite the all-around performer like, the Z Fold 6 or even the OnePlus Open. But even with all of that, it's still a fierce competitor and a foldable that I definitely would recommend that you consider if you are in the market for this type of device. Now, that was my take. With all of this said, what do you think? At $1,800 for its base 16 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of internal storage, are you sold on this bad boy? Or is there another foldable you've got your eye on? Let me know in the comment section. I'm certainly hoping that this was informative. Please don't forget to like, of course, share the video if you know anyone who would be interested. Make sure to subscribe, of course, if you haven't done so already. I'm going to catch you in the comment section, like I always do. I'm also going to catch you in the next video. Up until that next video, of course, as always, stay safe out there.